Thank you so very much for your patience at home. How may I best be of assistance to truly make a difference? If you guys want to at any given time make some requests, tell me what do you hope to improve, refine, better, explore. And we have as a special guest tonight, Fly Hudson. Fly has put together an event on Sunday through Sephora. You know, I've just turned 51. That's a scary number.
I would never guess.
It feels weird when you go like 49, 4, that's okay, you know, like the classic $49.99 feels different. Oh, it's not $50, it's $49.99, and then 50. And I'm so grateful. If today I could run to the me whom in my early 20s, despite the fact that I had abused my body as crazily as could be, that started to realize you got to take care of your face, your body, your bigness, and so on. So on Sunday there's a very special event to help you with that. No matter you'll be glad, you know, you'll be glad. Is anybody beyond 51 here now? All right, I am your senior. Then respect. Well, I'm talking on this weekend. This is a big weekend for us. We got a lot happening. So there's tonight. Then there's the Sephora event. I'm also doing with special guests such as Hypnotica and Tony Dillinger. We're going to address a fantasy that every man has ever had. The idea of a threesome. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand if you had one or not, but I'm going to give you a glimpse to get the ball rolling to start with. I'm not going to give you the whole system, but would anybody oppose that we talk a little bit about threesomes? Would any of you ladies be completely offended, outraged, disgusted? No, I know you wouldn't. One thing that's interesting, okay, the first thing we got to know about the idea of a threesome. You know, I send texts, and at any given time, if you don't want to receive my text anymore, block me or whatever. And I don't know if it's the time of the day, but I got a world record of like, don't text me anymore. I think it's the topic. I think it still stirs people quite a bit, okay? So, why? It always cracks me up when people still discriminate at one level or another. It's fun to have a threesome. It's not the end of the world. It's much better to have a foursome or a fivesome. And at the same time, for me, you got to have a higher purpose than that. It's simply about being the kind of person, whether you're a man or a woman, that if there's something you desire, you can't afford to go through a lifetime of fucking teasing yourself with it. And that goes for any goal that we may have. Because at a metaphysical standpoint, if we position ourselves beyond the physical, spiritual stuff, if we position ourselves frequently in that awkward place of I want, but, and we don't grant the self what the self desires, for as long as it's organic to some degree, then we tend to attract people that will tend to treat us that way. Or we also tend to attract situations that will be yes, but. So it's more about granting yourself the things that you desire, you know. It's debatable. I openly say that what I share at this point is the teaching of an entity of frequency called Aphrodite. In a recent channeling of Aphrodite, Aphrodite said, with those matters, you know, one day you will be the trees, you will be the eagle, you will be the stars, you will be the moon, you will be the sun, you will be all things, you will be spirit. For now you are in the flesh. There's a reason for that. Enjoy the flesh while you're in the flesh. Then it's all about who are you as a person. So if nobody opposes, then let's talk a little bit about a glimpse of what I'll present, which is very, very, very detailed this weekend. Now, the first thing you got to know is that even if you feel that, yeah, I really want that, chances are you are a little more conflicted about that idea than you know it at the core. A week from now, AZD and I are addressing, resolving internal conflicts. Now, we may not know we are conflicted on the inside, but here's the ultimate test to know if you're conflicted about a certain idea. If it's uneasy for you to present it to others, many, for example, say, having multiple girlfriends, how do you tell one girl about the other ones and so on, right? And yes, communication is key. Yet it's not at that level that the problem resides. It's at the level of internally, you're not fully sold on it. Part of you still thinks that it's not, that's the right thing to do. If you are convinced, if you know, of course it makes sense. Then wherever we already think, of course it makes sense, we present it to others easily, freely, naturally, independently of whether or not they will agree with it. So keep on digging deeper. My humble journey in this community that is now, not the community, my journey over 2 decades, has shown me that there's a tendency, almost like an addiction, to think that the solution is somewhere further, like endgame, when you'll make more headways if you constantly go back to treating through time some of the basics. One of them is not taking anything personally. And what's funny is that sometimes we feel that we're free from those things, but they come back. They come back when? When there's more at stake. So treat them more deeply than the newbie who thinks that he's good. Oh no, I have no problem opening. That is ridiculous. Uncover ways to open that right away. Could, for example, lead to a threesome. See, you show a picture of your girlfriend to the girl, and you read her response to know what category she fits in. Now, very briefly, and I want to hear from you guys exactly what you want. So, at first, to make headways with anything, it's important and helpful to have distinctions. It's not easy to make something happen if we're lacking distinctions. Those are not set rules, but they're great guidelines, and at least if you start to pay attention to that, it will open your mind to the kind of things that play very important roles in the dynamic of a threesome. There's 3 main categories. We're going to imagine them like that. Like 3 pairs of spreaded legs. No? You didn't smile? Okay. I thought that was funnier than that.
Oh, I'm taking it all in.
Alright? Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Take it all in. At some point my logo was a V like that, but it was a pair of legs spreaded. I got a lot of shit from it. So the first one is you have an existing relationship. Okay? So your source would be your relationship. I start simple. We add this weekend for those who do the whole program, because it should be fair that those who commit to doing the whole thing would get the whole thing. There's 2 main avenues. The first one is out of love. She's really crazy for you, and she will grant you that gift. That wish. So she's really doing it for you. What's the doorway to facilitate it in that manner? Is to really be so astonishing as a man, as a lover, and grow in every possible direction. Your fashion tops it all. Your communication tops it all. You're multidimensional. You're not only super bright, which could become boring or too thorough, you're entertaining in a way that's totally out of the ordinary, extraordinary. You're also as real and as authentic as can be. Humble with the human experience. And you make things happen. For you and around you, things happen. Everybody that's here has made tremendous headways in that direction. Know that the key is it has become so significant that it stands out like the biggest, newest casino in Las Vegas. It's so significant that it's noticeable in a heartbeat. Either consciously or unconsciously, they sense it, they feel it. The challenge, I remember my second wife, Amy, wanted to give me that gift, and a girl in New York was looking at her, very aggressive. And then it starts to happen, we go back to the hotel, and she goes, "Oh, he's coming," in reference to me. And she says, "Yes, of course, he's with me." She says, "Oh, he's cool, I like him." The girl just starts to go down on her, and she was so aggressive that at some point I was like, "Love, you okay?" "Yeah, that got a little intense." So there's all sorts of ramification and so on. And there the key was, the other girl was certainly not into me as a guy. She didn't mind me because I'm cool, but she was into her as a girl. So it was about giving them the space, becoming the facilitator and the gatekeeper also. Once she understood that she was responding to me, then she knew she needed me. Side note, just to get a little bit graphic, the best position to start with the goof of the newbie would be to just get onto the other girl. Have your girl on top of the other girl. If she's not comfortable going down on her, they can at least kiss the breast, and then go behind your girl and take your girl from behind while she's on top of the other girl, which it's like a protection in between. She's in between, but you're close to the other girl. Okay? Yeah? See how taboo it still is? This is not the okay that I would get if we were talking about texting. So we must make headways. It's very difficult to get what you're not comfortable with, for all of us. And the comfort, we find it with the spirituality, with dropping any little hang up and keeping the space open. And it might or might not be for you. You have zero obligation. The more you let go of the tendency of turning it into an obsession, the more likely it is to happen. The other one is, it's a thing that you share in common, you know, and it's through your better avenue. The big mistake a lot of guys make, they want their girl to eventually be with another girl, even if they can talk to her pretty good. The challenge is now, if you're not in the proper environment, here's the dynamic that you gotta encounter, which the odds are fairly low. First, the other girl needs to be attractive. She needs to be aware of her bisexuality. Then she needs to be active in it, like she wants to be proactive with it. She needs to like your girlfriend, and she needs to be okay with you. And on top of that, let's say, wow, miracle, you line up all of that. Logistics, there needs to be a location, the timing, and so on. So it's possible, but that is not your highest avenue. The other one is almost like a swinger's lifestyle. In the right environment, it shouldn't be too complicated once you have the mechanics. This is very thorough. This is probably my most thorough course up to date, because it's something that I got a glimpse of it when I was a kid. Randomly, those two girls in a little hippie campground when I was a kid came and said, "We want to go to the woods with you," two little hippie French girls, twins, and they both kissed me. I didn't know how to kiss back then, so I knew you had to use your tongue, so I licked their cheeks, and they were laughing. But it kind of stayed with me. The moment I relocated after I was homeschooled, I was like, oh, two prettiest girl in the class, do the same thing. I just grabbed them, I kissed both of them, my sister was there, started to cry, it made a big deal. My mom was like, so I heard from your teacher that you kissed those two girls and that they didn't mind, but the parents, so there was like a meeting against me or something like that. But after that, none of it happened after that. And the first few times, I got a little confused, you know. It was like a lot of trial and error. So if you are not fully equipped, it will elude you. I kind of lost my train of thought, but we're going to come back. So in the proper environment, there you're a couple, active with that, but then you got to resolve the logistic problem. So sex parties, porn convention, anywhere where it's already the norm, it's already happening, there's a dynamic you cannot violate, and that's the first option, okay? What's the second option? Well, the second option is you go with girls that are already making that happen, okay? So you are right guy at the right place. How are we doing online? Good? Yeah? You're the right guy at the right place. There's more categories, but I give you two to start with. Yeah? Cool. The first one, you have two party girls. I went to Catalina Island once, suddenly on the boat, those two girls, they were strippers who wanted to blow a little bit of money, have fun, blow some steam. What candidate do they look for? A guy who's spacious, that's not going to get weird on them. Okay? So right there, that's what is most important. That you're going to be fun and you are going to know the dynamic. You're not going to go overboard. You're not going to get needy. You're not going to get greedy. You're not going to get overly creepy. You may know that it's just a one-time deal. You're not going to get attached to one more the other one. So right there, random party girls that they would do that, and it's like a little thrill. So that's one option. Okay. Girls do it already. Then another combination is oftentimes, at the exception of like really hardcore girls, you know, that very aggressive, but for the most part, I've seen so many girls wanting each other, beating around the bush. So right there, you become a facilitator. You could have, it's not a relationship like it's your girlfriend, but at some point, when I really wanted to make that happen, Project Hollywood, one of them unfortunately passed away very young, drug overdose, but Kimberly, she kind of needed me to make it happen. She was good at picking up girls, but she needed my dynamic to ease them into the experience, to bring a sense of safety and so on. Once I understood how it worked with Kimberly, I got another one. I had a little army of girls who wanted girls, and I was the missing link. I was like the facilitator. Right there you become the facilitator for girls who want it. And the dynamic is, okay, I abbreviate. The dynamic could be where you're not doing much, you know. Suddenly you have like that experience of being there with them, but watch out, because if you go back to thinking, yeah, two girls and me, that's the third dynamic. That would kill it. It's very broad, because one thing that also happened, for example, I was with that girl and those two girlfriends. At the time, that girl was my attorney with her girlfriend, and they got turned on by the girl that I was with, and they enjoyed watching us. And then they just grabbed her. They just grabbed the girl. So it was two girls that were a couple, see, it could be a couple, watching me and that girl, getting a kick out of it. I thought they were going to be like smoking a cigar and be like two dudes going, look at them fuck, you like that? And then it was me stepping out and watching all three of them. Now here's the third one, okay? The third one is the one where the experience is for you. It's two girls and you're the king. Now, think about it this way. If you go to a five-star restaurant, let's say there's a new trendy restaurant here in Hollywood, and everybody's talking about it, and it's nearly impossible to get it, and everybody wants it, and there's a long line, and there's celebrities and so on. Suddenly they go, sir, we can give you a table, but you need to share the table with somebody else. You probably would go, okay. Another silly example would be